Michiko and Hatchin, Episode 2, The Brown Sugar Outlaw. That's a title you can only have in an anime like this when your characters look the way that they do, but I love this episode too. I thought it was a really good first episode with Michiko and Hatchin actually together, getting to know about each other, and we actually get a nice little flashback where we learn a little bit more. We learn, pretty much only about Michiko, because obviously Hana has been kind of just living in a foster home. That's pretty much all there is to it. She's only 9 years old. So we learn more about Michiko and her past in jail and how this, I guess her final attempt in the last episode was probably like her fifth attempt or something like that, fifth or sixth attempt to escape prison, because she had like really short hair compared to how long her hair is now. So that was like her third attempt in the past. And then, her final attempt in the last episode, she mentioned every time she got a little bit further. But we got to meet her former best friend, I guess. They've known each other for years. Um, they go back and forth. They always fight. She always ends up finding a way to beat up her friend or her former friend, and she always kind of falls for Michiko's little tricks. Like at the end or towards the end of this episode, when Michiko's like, coming a little close. This is something you want to hear, and she bites her ear, and then she ties her up and stuff, and it's like she's just tied up on the ground, and then at the end of the episode she's just in the little locations yelling Michiko's name because it's like she freaking escaped, and I gotta keep chasing after her. But I like the aspect of one of her longest oldest friends really being the main person trying to come after her and take her down. And we learned a bit about the guy that she was with, who's the father of Hana or Hachin. And I thought that was pretty interesting. It was kind of sad because it was like she found out in prison that this guy was killed in this bus explosion, and so she's kind of had to live with that. And her goal now, we find out, is actually to visit his grave and just kind of find out at least where his resting place is, and sort of pay her respects, and take her daughter um, to at least see her father's grave. So I thought it was um, kind of a somber moment, but it was also kind of cool. Like when she first heard about it, of course, it was a lot harder for her. But it's been years since that happened, so I thought that was actually kind of cool. It was a pretty cool way to show how she so quickly kind of changed and how she accepted everything that happened. It was like when she first heard about it, she was all freaked out, and then she just had time to deal with it, and then she learned about her daughter and stuff like that. Um, Still, the math on that is she's not exactly her daughter. So the guy died 11 years ago, I said, and Hana is turning 10, so it could still fit in line where it's like only a year apart. But it seemed like um, Michiko isn't actually Hana's mother, like in any way. She's just kind of she was just in love with the guy, and so that's why she took the girl, and kind of, that's why she's taking her to see the guy's grave. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like they did the math, and I think the main thing about that, like aside from the math, is just the fact that they don't do a flashback where she's actually pregnant. So of course it's not, Michiko isn't actually Hana's mother, but she's taking care of her because it's like, well, this little girl has no family, so I cared about this guy a lot enough to try to keep breaking out of prison. So I'm gonna take his daughter under my wing and take care of her and kind of raise her as my own. And if she is her actual biological mother, then that would be interesting that they saved that and didn't show the flashback in this episode to kind of make people think what I'm thinking right now, where she's not her mother, and then it's like, nope, she actually is, and they just save the flashback for later in the series. But I enjoyed the episode. It was cool to see the car chases. It was cool to see Michiko and Hatchin actually talking and getting to know each other, and Hatchin learning about herself and her father and things like that, and then them dealing with kind of being on the run and who Machiko really is and how she acts, and just the way everything is with her, and how she is a good person, but at the same time she's a little crappy, because it was like, if Hatchin didn't have the tattoo, she was like, I just leave the kid, I just drop her, I don't have time to babysit some stranger's kid. So it was like those kind of a harsh moment, but then you have the rest of the episode, like she knew that she had the tattoo, and that's why she did it in the first place. So it's like, and she saves her, and she does like, a rooftop drive across an entire street, which was kind of funny, but still really cool. And she saves Hachin at the end of the episode, kicks the priest, and he falls through, through the building and stuff. He went even crazier. I didn't expect him to actually try to kill Hachin at the end of this episode. I figured, yeah, the child support stuff, and he was getting mad about that. I was like, well, that's typical. I wasn't surprised. But when he was like, if she died right now, I'd get the insurance money. That actually shocked me a little bit. I didn't think he'd go that far. Like I know they did kind of beat him and abuse or ignore the fact that even their children beat on Hachin, but I didn't think he'd flat out go crazy. Like, I could kill her and get all this money. So I was actually kind of surprised by that one, and I was hoping that Machiko would like kind of just kick him really hard, like off the building, or take the gun and maybe shoot him. I thought she was gonna run him over. Actually, I didn't think she'd miss after she kicked the gun out of his hand and she turned around. I thought for sure she'd just run right over him. I didn't think that would kill him, but I thought she was gonna knock him down and just drive straight over him, which I think would have been really funny, especially in anime, because he could have lived, and it's like, well, it's anime, so it's always one of those things you believe. He fell through a roof and he's still alive. Like, he should be like blinded. His glass is broken. Everything. He should be all messed up. But I'm sure he'll be in the rest of the series. I'm sure trying to come after them. He'll be like their sort of sub boss or whatever, dealing with him trying to come after them and trying to kill Hachin, I guess, to just get the insurance, because it would be a big payout rather than a little payout for child support each month. But definitely a fun episode. I feel like these episodes, like I do like really quick reviews. I realized my last one was only like 8 minutes, and that's really short for me reviewing most of my shows. But I feel like there's always a lot visually to this show. Like, there's a lot of stuff that it's all kind of just packed together. It's a lot of meaning just in these little moments. So there isn't like too much detail to really go through, but it's just a lot of great stuff to enjoy. Like, visually, still obviously looks great. The moment between Hachin and Machiko, like I said, was just really well done. And seeing the difference in their characters, like when Machiko stole the pop and she's like beating up the pop machine and she gets the pop, and then Hachin's like, I don't want to drink this because you just stole it, because she's, a nice little girl and stuff. And I just enjoyed that. And like seeing Machiko basically destroy the bartender. She drops like a giant crate of beer on him, knocks him out. I have to assume steals all of his money so she could pay however much it costs for gas, which I would assume, the guy mentioned it would be a lot. So I'm assuming she stole the money from him and knocked him out. So, kind of just seeing their characters and how they developed even from episode 1 to episode 2, or really just how they are, I guess. I guess they haven't really developed. But they had like a little moment at the end when Hachi does call for Machiko, and Machiko comes in and completely saves her from the pastor. So I thought it was definitely a cool moment. I'm really excited to get more of Machiko's background and like what the song meant. Like some of the questions Hachin was asking at the end of the episode, those were valid questions. Like, why did she get so mad about that little tiny song? And then she mentions like, well, everyone has accidents when they're younger. So it's like, did she pee on herself or something silly like that? But even if it's that simple, obviously it still affects her all these years later, because she mentions it happened when she was a kid. So it's like, it still has an effect. Like, this song still drives her crazy. It got her to get off the moped and walk right to her and grab her friend. And then it's like, well, now you're surrounded. Of course, she flipped that around, but that was like her drive. It was just like, it pissed her off so much, and it's just like, it's probably going to be an insanely silly story, but I really want to know because it made her so incredibly angry. And as crazy as she is, you can tell that she thinks out her plans a lot. Even if she's kind of winging it, she at least has some sort of plan somewhere in her head. And then that was just like, she got pissed off and just went for her friend. So a lot of interesting quirks about her character that I'm interested in learning, and I'd love to learn more about the guy she was with, and maybe her past. Like, this tattoo seems to kind of be like a part of their gang, pretty much, and I have to assume it was more than just Machiko and the guy that she was with. So I'd love for her to meet some of her former gang members, or just learn more about this gang, because it seemed like the guy was a part of the attack on the bus. Like, they mentioned that he was dead, but I don't know if he was a part of the attack or if it was If it was even tech, I may have been missing out because I just forgot. But honestly, like it blew up, and I was thinking like they talked about him as like he's confirmed dead. So just learning about the people that she used to hang out with, who is who's doing what now. Maybe her friend was a part of that gang for like a small amount of time, and that's why she became a cop. Because it's like we did all this crappy stuff. I want to make it right, and I became a cop. But either way, I'm definitely excited for for what this episode kind of introduced, like the one new character. Unfortunately, the aspect of Hatchin's father being dead, which does kind of explain why she'd been there, but it could have been something else. He could have just been gone or not have even known. So now we find out that he's dead. It's actually a little bit sadder because she can't, actually meet her father, stuff like that. But it kind of keeps it to the two ladies of the series right now, and now we have a third lady as the main villain, or at least antagonist. I don't really want to call her a villain because, of course, she's a cop, so she's not exactly a bad guy. But she's the antagonist at least. So I'm excited for what is introduced in this episode. The first real connection, or you know, trying to connect moments between Hatchin and Machiko. So I loved it, of course. I want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I want to know what you guys thought about Machiko's friend being, like, as the main antagonist, her being kind of in charge as the cop. And also what you guys think about the fact that the Hachin's father is actually dead. Like, we find that out in this episode. So he's just gone. Like, Machiko was trying to escape to get back to him. And we find out that he's gone. So now it's just his daughter and his former lover, and that's pretty much it. And possibly Hachin's real mother if it's not Machiko. So I want to know what you guys thought about those two fairly big points, because one is kind of the ending of the death of a character that we never even really got to meet, and then the other is the introduction of a character who's going to be the main antagonist throughout the series. So I want to know what you guys think about that. I enjoyed both moments, of course. There were two really huge moments. We got to meet the main antagonist, and we learned a big part of Machiko's past because she lost the person she really, really loved. And of course, Hachin lost someone that she never got to love, so it obviously makes a big deal. But I want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.